Hi guys, welcome to the Fourth Moment Weekly Roundup, and this is where you get your weekly dose of local football results and news. And with me, as usual, is co-host Andrew Pequeno. Andrew, how's it?
Okay, and you, Shamiel?
All right, and as you can see, we've got Moritz Kossmann, the Ubuntu head coach.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No problem. Thanks for joining us. And obviously, so today we're gonna, as usual, this is our first show for 2023, Andrew.
That's right.
Yep. So we know there's been a couple of games already, so we're having sort of a late start. I hope you forgive us for that. But we're going to run through the third division and then obviously concentrate more on the ABC Mutsepe because we do have Moritz here and we can find out what happened the weekend there with him and also the ABC and the Bahil. So which is a thorny subject at the moment. Okay, so right, let's look at the only thorny because Ubuntu lost, eh? Nothing else. Okay, so Moritz, before we get there, we're going to run through the third division quickly. Andrew, you want to start off there with some results?
Yeah, it was a double-header weekend this weekend. There's some good results this weekend. Trinitarians that were flying high. Saturday, they drew 0-0 with Vasco. And Sunday, they drew 0-0 with Silver Spurs. So, basically, they dropped 4 points back to the field there. But two tough teams, Vasco and Silver Spurs in the top 5. So it was very good results, I think, at home. As long as you're not giving points away to the teams around you, I suppose that's good results for them.
Yeah.
Silver Spurs on Friday, they beat Woodlands 1-0, so they're keeping the pressure on the top team there. And, of course, Greenwood Athletic, the shock result on Friday, losing 2-0 to Junction Rovers in Heidelveld.
Yeah.
And by all accounts, well-deserved win for Junction. Yeah. Listen, we always say Heidelveld is tough place to go to. Just some other results, Saxon Rovers, big weekend for Saxon Rovers. They were hovering in the relegation zone. They beat Milano 3-0 on Saturday, and last night they beat Vasco da Gama 2-1 away. So big results for Saxon.
For Saxon, yeah. Just on that match there, I mean, that result is sort of a surprise. What's happening at Saxon? Coach Shannon Atkins doing the business?
Yeah, he's doing the business. I was there last night. I watched the game. Totally different team to the team that played against Greenwood, Shamiel. Okay. There are about 8 or 9 new players in the side.
Wow, okay.
They played exceptionally well. They've got a keeper in from Clarewood. They've got players like Jamie Clark who they've signed. So they got some decent players, propping them up there. And I think, better watch them. I have a feeling they're going to start climbing up the table. And this weekend, they got a big game. They're playing Silver Spurs on Saturday.
Oh, that's a big game, yeah?
At Saxons. So it's going to be a good week. I anticipate them to do well.
Okay.
Some other
running for Saxon there.
No. They did well. I was just impressed with them last night. Okay. And then Saturday, this weekend also, another team who got 6 points was Premier United. They beat JL Zwane. / Cape Town United 5-2 Cape Moya, 5-2 on Friday, and they beat Woodlands 6-3 on Sunday. So as a coach, I don't know if I should be happy with those results if I'm focusing on my defense, but anyway, but that's good win for them. Good wins for them.
Yeah, no, I did a post then. We got some picks there from our guy Ricardo Sneyman, who was at the game, and he was also saying defensively both teams not shaping up. Yeah, so it's 9-goal thriller there in Heidelveld. And then just looking at the log there, Trinity's with a game in hand, top spot, Andrew, 23 points. And then Silver Spurs in second, Greenwood third, dropping to third, and then Vasco obviously dropping to fourth there. And if you look at the sort of bottom end of the log, we can see the climb of Saxon Rovers. I think they were sort of close to the bottom, but now in 12th spot. So that 6 points doing them a world of good there.
And they got 12 points.
They're on 12 points.
Yeah, they're only 11 points behind the leader. Eh? Things can change. There's still 24 games to go. Anything can still happen in that.
Yeah, I was looking at the bottom there. I mean, any win there takes them right up to mid-table, 8th or 9th spot. So, yeah.
It's very tight at the top.
Quite tight. Okay. So, we got some fixtures coming up, obviously, this weekend in the third division also.
Yeah, there's some big games. Sunday, Sunday is a place to be, is Hanover Park. 4 o'clock kickoff, Premier United versus Trinitarians. Big game on Sunday. And then also on Sunday, if Sunday is, I think, the best day to go watch football in the third division. If you want to do a double-header, you could be at Malta Park at 2 o'clock for Cape Town City versus Greenwood. Yeah. Top of the table clash of note. The two teams, Trinitarians and Greenwood, fighting for top spot. Both got tough away games. And on Saturday, we're looking at games, Saxon Rovers, Silver Spurs, 3 o'clock at Royal Road, big game. And then Friday night, we got Junction Rovers versus Milano.
Yeah, Cape Town United. Also, the other match that I just saw there now was a Ocean View and Vasco. So Ocean View not doing too well at the moment, but they got a home game on Sunday. And then the other match, which I also noticed, there was Matros and Woodlands. That will be a good match as well.
Yeah.
At Ellsbury Park.
I don't know if Coach Moritz has any idea of if Ocean View have got some players in yet to assist them?
Yeah, I think they've obviously had a tough start to the season. A lot of good people involved there, and I hope that they're able to turn it around. We hope that they can be in the SAB next season. I think reality is it is a relegation battle at this stage, and we're very much hoping that they can make the home venue a fortress at least.
Hoping they turn it around there. Then the ABC Motsepe results. We go to the A stream first. Got some results there, which obviously took place last weekend. Ikapa Sporting and Zizwe. Ikapa drawing with Zizwe, they 1-1, Andrew.
Sure, that's a big result. Ikapa were leading till late in the game. But Zizwe, Zizwe got the result again away from home. Listen, Ikapa are still top of the log. They're still holding on to that top spot. They've got some big games coming up. They've got Hout Bay, so there's some big games coming up for them in the next couple of weeks. I think they got Hout Bay and they got Santos still to come. So it should be interesting.
Okay, and then the battle of the brothers, the Crowies, Cape Town Spurs and Marty's 2-1 win for Brother Duncan. Apparently it was sort of a up and down game, box to box.
Yeah, a couple of my players went to watch that game. Spurs went 2-0 up in the first half. Marty's came back in the second. Apparently it was quite close.
Yeah.
It could have gone either way at the end.
And then the Cape District derby taking place there between Santos and Grassy Park on Saturday, with Santos winning bragging rights there over Grassy Park 3-1. Moritz, any input on these teams so far?
Yeah, I think a team like Spurs getting a result makes a lot of sense. They typically blood in a very young squad with a lot of players that get their first senior experience in ABC Motsepe, so it can take them a little while to get used to the physicality and get used to playing 90-minute games. But it would make sense for them to start hitting their stride now as things go along. So I think that's a logical one. The Zizwe Kapa one it's a tough game. I think a venue that they could kind of share at the very least, and a lot of players that know each other, and that one also tough top of the table clash. I think Hout Bay has now been sitting out for a couple of weeks. So it'll be interesting to see how they hit the ground when they come back. Obviously, they've had a really long break now. I think it's a tight stream. I think Santos for me is a team that I really rate extremely highly with Coach Roger. So I think they will be right at near the top for the entirety of the league.
And talking about Hout Bay, their game is against their next match is against City Kings, who had, as we remember, a good result a couple of weeks ago against Zizwe. So sort of a tough one to get back into.
That's an interesting game, Shamiel. I tell you why. City Kings, they've got a big result against Zizwe away from home. Their first win, I think, of the season. They then had a break because their game against Pequeno was postponed. So that momentum that they might have had and that that feel-good factor sort of starts waning. And then you got Hout Bay playing their first game back. They've been off for about 8 weeks, coming back now, playing City Kings at home. We played Hout Bay in a friendly 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. They're a good team. I've got to be honest, they are a good team. So it's going to be very interesting. Coach Ryan is definitely going to have them ready for action. So that could be a very good game to watch on Friday night at 7:30.
Okay. And then the Grassy Park and Cape Town Spurs match, that's also going to be sort of a interesting outcome, with Spurs now obviously needing the points, and Grassy Park, change of coach, not getting a good result last week. They got to come back. Obviously new players in the team, got to sort of gel again. Work from over again. So that's going to be an interesting one there. Yeah,
but I think the big game is Friday night. Nyanga Stadium, Zizwe versus Santos.
Yeah.
I think Zizwe are at the point now where they cannot afford to drop any more points.
They've got to win.
Yeah, they've had 2 losses already. They've had a draw. They can't afford to drop any more points. Santos flying high. 2 very good coaches. Coming up against each other. It's going to be a very tactical battle. I know Coach Roger is not going to go play there for a draw, to be honest.
Yeah.
And 7 o'clock Friday night, Nyanga Stadium, that's the place to be.
Yeah, so looking at the log there in Stream A, we've got a Kapa on top spot, 11 points, 5 games played. Santos in second with 10 points. Hout Bay in third with 4 points. And then Zizwe in fourth spot, which is unusual to see. But let's see if they can come back.
Yeah, and Hout Bay have that game in hand. They win their game in hand, they go top of the stream. So it's still a lot to play for. Zizwe, after 5 games, got 7 points. They're already 4 points behind Ikapa with the same number of games. Yeah. Like I said, they cannot afford to drop any more points.
And then we've got matches in Stream B there. This is the stream you guys are involved in. Okay, so we've got the match there between Ifin Rangers and Okanya. I mean, Ifin Rangers only 1-0 win there against Okanya.
Yeah.
Moritz, anything to say about it?
Wow, it's a surprising one, especially at home. I heard that FN Rangers had a boatload of chances and
One of those.
left it late to get the winner, but probably should have won by a few goals difference. That is a thing that can happen. So slightly surprising, nevertheless, not a surprising winner at the end.
At the end of the day, yeah. Young Bafana and Ubuntu 1-1 draw. That's your match, Moritz. How did that match go for you guys? Tactical against Highland Dean, or did it go sort of like you thought it would?
Yeah, I thought it was a really good ABC game at the end of the day. Definitely a tactical battle. Difficult conditions out in Strand. The field is slightly bumpy, although I have to give some credit. I think they've done some work on the field and it is improving.
Okay.
But nevertheless, quite a small field as well, and a little bit of travel out of Ocean View. I thought we had a really, really good first half. I thought we were outstanding playing the conditions in the first half. Went up 1-0 quite early, and I think we were good for our lead. And in the second half, credit to them, they came back.
Okay.
They put us under some pressure, had a few chances, and eventually got the equalizer around the 70th minute, 75th minute, somewhere around there. And after that, it was a little bit open. I think both teams could have scored a winner. Neither really deserved it. So I think a draw was a fair result. They play some good football. Coach Dylan has them well organized. There's obviously some really experienced, high caliber ABC Motsepe players in there.
Okay.
I think they're up and around the top for a reason.
Yeah. And then this one surprised me, but I must be honest. A Nova Park 4-0 win over Battalion. Battalion, strong team traveling. I think is this their first loss away from home?
Yeah, it was their first loss away from home.
4-0, Andrew. How did that match go?
Yeah, listen, you look at the result and you think 4-0 that we dominated.
Okay.
To be honest, I wasn't totally happy with the performance. There were certain key things that I wanted us to achieve in the game, which we didn't quite achieve 100%. But you know what? We take the 3 points and we go. We know for once we took about 50% of our chances, so clear-cut chances. So I'm happy from that perspective, considering we've been wasteful over the last 3 or 4 games. So I'm very happy about that. I think our pre-season, I call it pre-season, the work we've done now in January, the friendlies we've had, I think got us match ready. I felt Battalions, they came out with their plan, and we got an early goal in the 13th minute, and then our second goal about the 25th minute. So we were 2-0 up quite early.
Okay.
And I think that broke them out of their stride. And second half, they played with the wind second half, and they were going long to their big striker quite a bit and trying to play off the second ball. And we had anticipated that happening.
Yeah.
We had prepared for that the whole week. So we dealt with that very, very well. But listen, I'll take 3 points and move on. I'm not going to dwell too much on that. All I know is, we've still got a lot of work to do.
Okay. There's a result that I don't actually have recorded here, which is Royal Blues.
Yeah, Royal Blues beat Wanderers 1-0 in Beaufort West,
Okay, so that's a good win for Royal Blues. They need the win. Not so good for Wanderers.
Yeah, I believe it was 39 degrees there.
Extremely difficult place to travel to.
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we've been there. It's not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah. Okay, so that is Royal Blues' first win then of the season, which drops Okanya down to last place, and then Wanderers second last place. We're talking about the log now. Top of the log, and in Stream B is FN Rangers with Young Bafana in second spot, and Nova Park in third spot. You're planning on winning the stream there, Andrew, or we're not there yet?
No. It's too early, eh? No. Listen, there's still, I think there's 11 games left for us. We got some tough games coming up the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
Listen, everybody's playing each other over the next 3 weeks. I think we got Ubuntu, FN's got Ubuntu, FN's got Young Bafana, FN's got Clearwood. Clearwood have got Young Bafana's got Clearwood, so it's like
all over the place.
So let's look at the log after the first round, see where everything is, and then we can start having an idea. But listen, it's not over till it's over. This stream, I think, is going to be way more competitive than Stream A. I think Stream A, we're going to start seeing some teams pulling away. I think Stream B could go down to the last game.
I see you're talking about the Ubuntu. Obviously, we got Moritz here. They're on exactly the same points as you, with exactly the same games played and exactly the same wins. So tight there, Moritz.
very tight. I mean, it is, as Andrew said, still early days. You know, only 5/6 games in for some teams, and yeah, I think there's some really good teams in the stream, that's for sure. Even some that are below us, and it will go right down to the wire. I think it's extremely competitive, and if I compare ABC to last year, I feel it's gotten even more even this year. I think even the teams that are near the bottom of the table are still extremely challenging to beat. Whereas last year, certainly in our stream with the bigger league, there was one or two teams that really fell away towards the end. I think it's enormously even, very competitive.
Yeah, and I think that shows you the, how can I put it now? The sad part of it is that if it was a full season, you know, with both streams combined, 18 teams, I personally think it would be very, very competitive. I think, you know, the standard of football has gone up, I think, compared to last year, as Moritz said, and I think that would have even made it more exciting. You know, having a full season, the best team would always win. I'm not saying the best team is not going to win the stream. All I'm saying is in a 34-game season, the cream will rise to the top. And everybody would then, you know, have a fair chance, I think. You know, sometimes if you put in a stream where there's 4 or 5 competitive teams, you know you're fighting for the bottom 3, you're trying to stay up. You know, one team from each stream gets relegated, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah. Okay, so that's basically the roundup of the matches and the logs there for both streams. Did we touch on
there's big games this weekend?
Yeah, for ABC. Can you go there? You got it?
Yeah, Clearwood playing Young Bafana at Edgemead Sports Grounds at 3 p.m. You know, Clearwood, you know, they're without a coach at the moment. Coach Ashraf has unfortunately left them.
Okay.
So that's going to be a tough game. Young Bafana, as Coach Moritz found out this weekend, and I found out in game week 2, tough team to break down, tough to beat. That will be a nice encounter. I think the different styles of play would be very interesting to see what happens there. And of course, the big game, you know, Ubuntu versus FN Rangers at Ocean View. You know, Coach Moritz maybe can give us a bit of insight, but let's go to the rest of the fixtures before we get to that. I think the other big game, and that's on the other side of the table is Okanya versus Royal Blues. Royal Blues traveling from Beaufort. Okanya need a win, and they're playing at home. You know, Royal Blues train on turf. They're now going to come play on a big grass field. Who knows? You know, and then we travel Hanover Park. We travel to Wanderers on Saturday 3 p.m. Tough game also. It's a tough field to play on, you know, tough team. So, listen, nothing's taken for granted there.
I think the 2 matches that excite me there is the Clearwood Young Bafana and definitely Ubuntu versus FN Rangers. I mean, Ubuntu obviously with the young side there, Moritz. FN Rangers also average age quite low, not too high. Are you guys gearing up for that match? Don't give us too many secrets.
Yeah,
please don't.
I mean, we're in the middle of our preparation. We really respect Coach Saji and his troops. I think the evidence is there. Last year they managed to win their stream and were really unlucky not to win the final and go to the playoffs. I think they've got a fantastic thing going at FN Rangers. A lot of good people involved, a lot of football knowledge, highly rated coach, rightfully so. And so we respect them a lot. Nevertheless, we are playing at home in our conditions, which we are very comfortable in. And we're in a good space. I think we've had 2 really good performances since coming back. The squad is looking strong, it's gelling nicely, and so I agree. It will be a really good game of football, really intense. We don't take anything for granted, and I think it's almost a 50-50 game at this stage.
Definitely. Also, I'm sure Coach Sachi would have made plans to get some training done before your match on turf, because you're obviously playing on the turf, where most of their training and matches are obviously on the grass there. So, Andrew, like you said, also the bottom of the log there, that Okanya and Royal Blues is also going to be an interesting game. So, that's basically our roundup, guys. We're going to just chat to Coach Moritz quickly about Ubuntu. Just without going in too much detail, how's things going at Ubuntu? Obviously, let's talk about the Bale result over the weekend. Wasn't a good result for you guys against Woodlands. If I remember correctly, it was also the same team that you, I think, in the Coke, drew and went on to penalties. So, how did that go? You were there, obviously, on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, tough one, obviously. Credit to Woodlands. We did manage to beat them 2-1 in the Coke semi-final.
Okay.
And this was a difficult situation for us because it was on the same day as our ABC game.
Yeah.
So we did have to prioritize the ABC. Nevertheless, we put out a strong team. Woodlands set up quite defensively, and we managed to get an early goal, which is normally the ideal scenario in this type of playoff game. After that, some more good chances created. We missed a penalty. We missed a couple of one-on-ones. And Woodlands managed to hang in there. And in the last 10 minutes, they really came, put us under some pressure. We're looking for an equalizer. Got one from broken play from a corner and managed to take the game to penalties. And once you go to penalties, it's anyone's game. Obviously, they were psychologically the happier team with it because they've been trailing for the whole game. And the keeper made 2 saves. Both our last kickers were saved.
Wow.
And they managed to ultimately advance. So well done to them. And all the best for them for round robin. And we need to own that. I think over the years, we've always had a lot of success. But at the same time, this is something that we can learn from. And I think something we need to own. Something where we need to say we weren't good enough on the day. And ultimately come out for the better of it on the other side.
Obviously, like you say, the ABC is your priority. A lot of young players playing in that team.
Yes.
Tell us just about that youngest age of the players there. How you're looking to progress them. This obviously is a tough competition for young teenagers. How are the boys coping? Obviously, with the results, you can see the team is doing well. But individually, how do the boys cope? Should they like the sort of the pressure? You guys train quite a bit, more than above average, more than other teams. Quick insight to that?
I mean, we train 4 times a week. And I mean, obviously the club started its journey in senior football 6 years ago, back in the NFD. Unfortunately got relegated after the second season at that level. Nevertheless, with the highest points total ever by a relegated team. But again, something you have to own. I think when we came to Motsepe in the 2019-20 season, we had to look at the model. That season was a bit of a transitional year, especially with COVID. But we had to look at the model and say, how are we going to make the best possible use of senior football to aid the overall program? And we very quickly got to the solution that we need to expose our young players to this level, and we need to play the youngest possible team. And we need to try to play a brand of football that is representative of what Ubuntu does. And in the 2021 season, we managed to take some good steps towards that. But since then, we've become younger and younger and younger. I think most of the boys that are playing in the team are still at school. Obviously, there is 1 or 2 20, 21-year-olds, and Coach Chris, who's also the captain of the team. Who's the senior keeping things together at the back.
That's Coach Chris Bergman.
Chris Bergman.
NFD player, All-Stars, Chipper, PSL.
So I think last year was a major positive step in the right direction where with a young team playing a certain brand of football, we were competing for the stream, which wasn't really a target. It's just something that happens through good performances.
That in itself is an achievement for that not being the actual focus, and the focus more on development, and you're actually reaping the benefits of the input that's happening there.
And I think this season we're trying to build on that. Whether we finish in the same position or not, whether we finish higher, that's not the main thing. I think the thing is trying to build positive momentum. We've gone even a bit younger this year. We've got even a 15-year-old who's already played a few games at this level. And we're trying to expose young players. This competition, it's a fantastic tool. It's a fantastic opportunity because it teaches young players things that you otherwise couldn't teach them even in the best possible training session. And
of course.
I think with the amount of guys that are signing to PSL clubs from Ubuntu, it shows the value of ABC amongst other things as a tool to help develop players.
And I think what I like about Ubuntu is whenever they go into a competition, it's about winning. Yes, there's development and focused on sort of holistic like coaching with education and so on. But the idea is they still to win, which is maybe different to some of the other academies before, where the focus was merely just on development. And that's obviously something that you guys instill in the players, because that happens at training also. You need to train to win.
No, I think objectively, football is about winning. That's the object of the game, the task. We want to do it within a certain playing style. So especially with the younger ages, finding a way to win within your playing style. But as we get older and older, it becomes important for players to learn to manage match situations and to be able to come out successfully in tough situations. And yeah, that's what we do, and that's where ABC is helpful. That's where tournaments are helpful. That's where the league is helpful. And yeah, I think ultimately, if players can do it whilst using the tools that we work on, that we train, then fantastic. And the training part is, we want a high intensity in our training sessions, and we want that every day.
Yeah.
We want 100% quality, and the only way to get that consistently is by diving in and using competition as a tool to train players.
Yeah,
sure.
So they need to have a desire to win, even if it's in a simple exercise and training.
Yeah.
And that's just as important as doing it in the match.
Yeah. Andrew, anything you want to ask Coach Moritz before we leave?
Yeah, quickly, how do players, young players, and come to Ubuntu? Are there trials? Do you guys look for certain ages every year? Is there opportunities coming up where parents could send their children to Ubuntu? Because the way Ubuntu has stamped themselves as one of the most sought after academies for young talent in Cape Town. And so what do you guys offer? Are there trials? Are there open days? I think maybe just inform our viewers about that.
Yeah. So obviously our main intake happens at under 13 age. Okay. We run a school along with a football program where all the players that are in the academy are also at the Ubuntu school at the same time. The school runs from grade 7 up until matric. So it's a bit different to the normal education sector, but it starts in grade 7. So it means that our intake for under 13 is a really important one, which then happens in the year before, towards the end of the year, October, November. And there's usually highly advertised open trials for that. And we often get a few thousand players down for that.
Wow.
And then we assess them on their footballing ability. But there's quite a detailed metric in terms of the overall suitability to the program. Because we're not just trying to raise footballers, we're also trying to raise footballers with a certain set of values, but also ultimately leaders that can help our country and our community going forward.
Okay, sure.
And so there's a process to it. They get assessed as the football talent is there. Then they will go on to academic testing, towards aptitude testing, and a whole bunch of other things that ultimately determines who the boys selected for the academy are.
Okay.
And I think the thing we are very, very proud of is that we don't release a lot of players.
Yeah.
So a lot of Ubuntu boys that graduated matric and that play ABC Motsepe have been there from 12 to 13 years old.
Yeah.
Sometimes even before that, because there is an extensive pre-academy program with the skill schools with football forward, where players from 8 years old come into that program.
Okay.
And so there's a lot of knowledge that Coach Dave, who runs the younger section in particular, has on those players before they come in on the final intake. And so we have an amazing success rate of bringing players through from under 13 right up until the end.
Yeah.
But there is a period in the middle, usually around under 15 and under 16, where we might look to move other players into the program. And so that is a particular scouting opportunity. Obviously, we try to keep our eyes open for talent on the field, talent off the field as well.
Yeah.
And we have a few players who come in. But yeah, the main intake, the main key one is the one of under 12, under 13.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks.
Okay, so yeah, I think that's it for the show. We don't want to keep it too long. I think we definitely need to put a plan in place to have a special show on what Ubuntu is doing, Andrew, within the community. Like we all know about the skill schools, then the school that they actually have, and then obviously there's also results. You can see the results. Latest one, Jordan Ali's being signed for Cape Town City from Ubuntu, being there from young.
Yeah, really young.
young. And so he's gone through that whole program, and he's not the only one. He's just the latest one. There's a whole lot of others. Got some in the Europe as well, I know.
Yeah.
And in the States.
Yes.
Yeah. So just before we go, we want to say thanks to Coach Moritz for joining us. Also, something on Coach Moritz, if you didn't know, you need to check him out on Twitter. His Twitter handle is at Moritz Kossmann at Moritz Kossmann 1. And we'll obviously in the video we'll put his details. And why I'm mentioning this is because he also does a lot of work in coach planning or training planning for coaches, also doing work for a lot of people. The Skid Times also in Europe, I know. So Coach Moritz is doing a lot of work there, not just at Ubuntu. So have a look. So the reason why I'm mentioning it is also for coaches who want to improve and sort of want to try to get as much resources as possible. Go have a look at him or follow him on Twitter. Andrew, anything before we go?
No, it's a good weekend for football. Go
Yeah.
pick your games and enjoy it. It's going to be a wonderful weekend.
Yeah. Moritz, anything from you?
No, absolutely. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the work that you guys do, highlighting grassroots football, local football, amateur football. I think it's extremely valuable and important, and credit for that.
No, thank you. And I can't forget, we had a fantastic workshop on Saturday, hosted by Stefanians and ourselves. And guys, look out for the next one. There's definitely one coming. If you want to be part of our mailing list, you drop me an email at info@thefourthmoment.co.za. Just send me your address. I'll add you to the mailing list, and when we have the next one, you can be informed, because the limited numbers is obviously because of the venue. Right, and so that's it for us, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers.